Tonight on the Super Important Show. Stop stealing that cat, the penis that cuts the deepest, the best crossover of all time, and if you could read minds, would you tell anybody? I am one of your hosts, Destiny Adado, and joining me, as always, is my amazing co-host, Heather Jules Booth. How you doing, Heather Jules Booth?
Hello, how are you?
I am good, and we are joined by our special and hilarious guest, Sal Joseph. Sal, how are you?
Hey guys, I'm doing great. How you guys doing?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm glad that you're here. Sal, tell people a little bit about who you are.
So my name is Sal, as you can see on screen. I'm an improviser and a comedian here in New York City. I created and produced a show called Improvention, a fully improvised intervention. And I'm performing around town, when I can.
Nice. Well, welcome.
Thank you.
Heather, do you want to get us into? You want to go straight into a little Would You Rather?
Would you rather?
No, Would You Rather. I'm sorry. I'm jumping the gun.
Too early.
A little
World
You Crazy. World You Crazy.
Yeah.
I jumped the gun. I'm sorry.
How dare you? That's it. I'm leaving. Yeah, I would love to. So today's World You Crazy. Now, I think everybody knows that, a lot of times if there are dirty stories, Dustin takes them. And if there are cat stories, I take them. And indeed, today's story is titled Brackley Drive-In Patrons Asked Not to Drive Off with the Cat. The byline is, please don't take him home. The owner of the Brackley Drive-In Theater, which is on Prince Edward Island's North Shore, so we're in Canada, has asked audience members to please refrain from taking home Timber, the theater's resident cat. He says that Timber often joins people to watch a movie. He likes to jump into the car, cuddle with him, but he says, please leave him on the property when you leave. The owner of this place says, this is not a public service announcement I ever thought I would have to make.
Stop stealing a cat.
Yeah, he says that the kitty has gone missing a total of 5 times. They name a place that I don't know Canada, so I don't know how far it is, but I'm going to assume pretty far, being its farthest destination. He says, now this line in this article concerns me because it says, those who take Timber home usually have good intentions. Well, what the fuck does that mean? What were the non-usual?
That means there was one incident.
There was one incident where somebody did not, and thank God, I guess they got him back. He says, oh, people think he's a stray cat, but he's very well loved. We don't want him to go missing. My kids love Timber. He chooses one of our children to sleep with every night. Says he technically lives in the motel near the drive-in. Sometimes his adventures are accidental. He once curled up in a family's minivan and fell asleep. The family got home and they were like, why do we have a cat in our car?
How did a cat get in your car without you noticing?
Well, it's a drive-in, so I assume it's like, I don't know, I guess...
The window was open?
Yeah, I guess. So here's the dumb thing. I think in my mind, I'm picturing all drive-ins are like the Flintstones drive-in from the opening credits where they put the thing in the car and all the cars are open.
Yeah, I think they usually keep...
Right now, that's what I'm picturing. So to me, I'm just like, of course a cat just leapt in.
Mm-hmm.
So, the last part of this article before we discuss it is he says typically a family or a birthday party group will always return him safely. And he says he's considering showing a video about Timber before movies at the drive-in so that this pattern doesn't continue.
Probably smart.
Right? They always say don't read the comments. I did actually read the comments on this story because I was curious what other people thought. And, a couple people, rightfully so, we're like, hey, you could put a collar on him with a little tag that just says Timber.
Right, or a bell. Give him a little bell.
I mean, you could put a bell, but that doesn't really tell you anything. But it does some sort of marking that would, because people keep thinking he's a stray. And it says, people take him home thinking, oh, this poor stray cat needs a home. So those were most of the people's comments. Somebody else was like, I'm concerned about the fact that it's a cat in a drive-in and that he's going to get hit. And I was like, that was also my thought about a cat in a drive-in. That seems very unsafe. it's Canada. I don't know what Canadian streets and roads are like. I kind of am like, hey, sir, if people keep driving off with your cat and your children are sad, maybe you should not let the cat out. Maybe just keep the kitty indoors. Keep him in his motel. Let him roam the halls.
I will say that even though we don't know Canada as well as Canadians do, I'm still confident that cars are stronger than cats. And if
they are definitely. Yes.
If they were to fight, a car would win more often than
a car will win.
Probably win.
Yeah, a car will always win. Yes.
Can I go back to one thing in the story that jumped out to me?
Please.
Every night the cat chooses one of the 4 children to sleep with.
Yes.
We know there's one kid that like the cat never chooses and is like miserable every night, right?
Yes.
There's always going to be one.
I thought that was really funny too. It's like, oh, the cat chooses one of the 4, which could technically mean only one of the 4.
Yes.
Right?
Maybe 3 of them are miserable.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. The cat's like, yeah.
But
you're
never
my favorite.
Kevin. Never Kevin.
Yeah, never Kevin. Cat's like, no.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is a wild story. And when I first read it, I glossed over like PEI because it says PEI in the article, and I was like, I wonder where this is. This sounds so like weird and what? And then I was like, oh, it's on Canada. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's just it's just a different world there.
Yeah, Canada's crazy. Canada's
Yeah.
crazy. Yeah. I mean, I personally like. Yeah, I would go with the bell or like something. Like, I know that they probably microchip the cat at a certain point. Like, they must microchip the cat.
I assume so. I mean, most cats, like, right, who knows? Like, most cats, are. Like, even cats that are intended to stay indoors because the thinking is, like, just heaven forbid they get out. That way you can scan them.
But I've got, like, a tile thing on my keys so that I can hit a button and I know where my keys are.
Yeah.
Like, get that for your cat so that you can just be like, hey, the movie's about over. I'm going to check to see where my cat is. Oh,
Apple tag him.
Yeah, Apple tag. Yeah, just whatever you got to do. But cats, like, this is a crazy cat. It's a crazy cat, and it needs.
Also, that way, like,
the story said it disappears for a couple of days, like all the time, and the family doesn't worry until it's more than a couple of days.
I know. I was like, that's kind of wild, especially because it's like my children are so upset if he doesn't choose one of them to sleep with, but if he's gone for a couple days, like, what? Yeah. I also found that kind of odd.
Real weird.
Yeah. All right, do we want
So
to
I'm going to say it's not chipped. Based on that, I'm going to say it's not chipped.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
I think you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, but definitely get it a freaking collar. That is the
For sure.
easiest. Like,
For sure. Like, that's the easiest short-term solution. And someone in the comments was like, collars can choke cats, which is a real concern. But everyone else was like, yeah, but most collars are breakaway at this point. Like, there are so many breakaway collars that it's at least the first step in, someone looks in their car and is like, oh, there's a cat with a collar.
I did not know.
I should check.
I did not know that was a thing.
The breakaway collars or cat?
Breakaway collars. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, mainly because people were letting their cats outdoors and unfortunate accidents were happening because their cats had collars and blah, blah, blah. I don't need to get into it.
So it's not like for a cat that wants to play basketball, it would just take off its collar and like right as it's about to hit the court.
Listen, maybe that is also a side aspect to it. It gives the cat that sort of like cred that it can just come out and be like, here I am, rips that collar off.
People always forget, like, because I've had breakaway pants like that before, and the breakaway part, really fun. The put back together again.
Put back together part
is
never
awkward
fun.
as hell. Yeah, it's always just like, what is
fun?
Yeah.
You've always got something that's fiddly, and you're like, what is this? Okay.
Yeah. Somebody's gonna do that for you. Sujatha joined us late.
I had a pair of those pants when I was a kid, and the most annoying part would be when my friends would screw with me and like pull them, and then I'd have to sit there like an idiot, like rebuttoning the buttons.
Yeah.
I was just about to ask, like, how do you even re-put those together? And you just answered my question. Yeah.
I would frequently wear them to the gym, but like as an idiot, I would just wear like them and underwear, and I constantly had this fear that they were going to come like unbuttoned, and I was just going to be like, and I just like, there were so many ways to solve that, like not wearing them to the gym.
Not wearing them to the gym. That's a great solution.
Just substituting shorts or sweats.
Yeah. I chose none of those options, and eventually those pants got destroyed in a sketch show. when somebody was wearing them, and then rolled around on glass and
Makes sense.
bled all up in them. So,
yikes!
Yeah, no, it was a bad scene. So,
Wow.
Was it like a wrestling sketch?
Sort of. Yeah, there was a fight, and
Sounds about right.
somebody was supposed to bring plastic glasses, and they brought glasses.
Definitely sounds like that's what
Yeah, glasses got knocked off the table. People were wrestling, and then the actor who had been borrowing those pants came back with just a big old bloody leg and pants, and he's like, "I can get you."
Christ.
He's like, "I can get you new pants. I can pay for them." And I was like, "No, I think you lost enough already. Like, I think the fact that you like cut your whole leg open, we'll call it even on that." But
was this person going to go back to like 1999 to buy them at the last time that they were openly available?
Yes, they were.
Nice.
All right, let's move on now that I've been insulted by our guest. I will.
No, I had him too. That's what I had him.
Cool. All right, let's move on to story number 2. You wanna take it?
Sure. I might need your guys' help with this because I am working off of a phone, so I don't have the article itself up in front of me, but I've got all the good details right up here.
That's usually fine.
So what you guys need to know is that some researchers found what appears to be a stone phallic-shaped item in the ruins of an old base, which they have determined was used for sharpening swords. And as someone that has a phallic-shaped something, I can't imagine a thing that I would less want to do than use it sharpening swords. But it was, according to the article, about 6 inches in length, and I'm going to be honest, I think they exaggerated just a little bit. It did not appear as big as questioned, but maybe it was a grower. They said based on the way the shape looked, that the tip is where the swords were being sharpened, which, I mean, I can't imagine a worse thing. But the article did go on to say that in those times, anything phallic shaped was revered and looked at as like, I'm not going to say a holy item, but like just revered and respected. And if I remember correctly, they also said that it ties into how fighting and weapons all tie into masculinity, and that might be why the sword sharpener was shaped like a penis.
You want me to bring it up? You want me to show our audience what we're talking about?
I think the audience definitely wants to see it. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
I mean, I'm going to say just a tad smaller than 6.
Yeah, I think that was definitely, they were sizing up.
No, the guy just has big hands. He's got very big hands. That's what it is.
Could be.
So once again, I don't use swords, so I don't know how one sharpens a sword. But now that I see this picture, I'm assuming you were like dragging the sword through the front there, tip.
Yeah.
Wow.
Doesn't look fun.
No.
For anybody.
No, not at all. Was this supposed to like bless your battle? I guess.
No, it didn't say anything about that. It said that the researchers at first were puzzled by what it could be. I'm gonna be honest. Tool used for sharpening swords probably would not have been my first guess.
Nope.
I think that there might have been some other guesses that I would have thrown out there, but you know, I leave a take to you guys.
I mean, just think about it this way, okay? I'm gonna bring it back up. Just think about it this way: you're sitting there ready for battle. You take this stone and you put it generally where you are, where your penis might otherwise be, and sharpen your sword right there, and just make like hardcore eye contact with the enemy while it's happening.
I like this.
That feels like a power move because they're like, is he sharpening his sword with his penis? They're like, I am not going into battle with a guy who is sharpening his sword with his penis.
So my first guess is intimidation tactic. I like it.
I like that too. Yeah.
Yeah, I would definitely
raise a dick.
Yeah, the minute somebody's using a sword on their own penis and not crying, I'm intimidated by that person. I'm gonna be like, you know what? You get this land. Like, this is yours. I'll go wherever the hell, like, somebody else needs to go.
You know, I'm gonna add on to yours. Did you guys ever have that friend that like would screw around with everybody and like unzip their pants but have like their finger tucked out and like was pranking everyone?
Yes.
Like, in going with your idea, you just have that like just lightly hanging out and you're doing it that way to sharpen the sword. Yeah. I would imagine as the enemy, I'm terrified.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So good psychological warfare. Whoever those old people were, those ancient
Sun
people
Tzu
were.
would be very proud. The art of war, right there, via penis.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna have to do that because I got a bunch of swords.
That's the appendix.
And they could use some sharpening. So I guess maybe I should.
Sujatha,
Sounds like you're 50% of the way there.
Right. Exactly.
bad people.
Yeah.
Sujatha, that's who we know. Sujatha just wants to know what kind of people we all know.
Yeah. No, not good people. Definitely not good people.
No.
And Jeff, you are on the correct show. Sometimes people sharpen their swords with a stone penis. I don't know what's confusing to you about that and why that's on this show. It's super
And it could
important.
have been a cold dip.
Yes. Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe.
Cool.
I wonder, was this sculpted to the artist's own likeness?
Ooh. Something to think about.
Right? Like, what was the inspiration behind this? Where they were like, well, we're going to make this. It's just something to think about. Yeah.
True to form.
Yeah. Is this true to form for the royal sword sharpening?
Yeah. I don't know. There's something like very freaky about the tip of just having that divot that deep in the tip. Like,
Right.
it's
Yes.
just
Absolutely.
a very, like, the more I look at it, the more I'm
The more disturbed
unpleasant.
you are. Yeah.
Well, it sharpens more of the blade, right? The deeper the tip, the more of the blade gets sharpened.
Right. But
I hate it.
But as soon as I like visualize that, I get very, very not that there's like a good part that a sword would go on a penis. Not that there's any point where you're like, oh, I would take the sword on that part of my penis. But
Agree.
I don't know, something about the tip. It's all very upsetting. Should we move on?
I think we're ready.
I think we nailed it.
Okay.
I think we nailed it.
Yeah, I think we got what we need to get out of that. Okay, so imagine this. Imagine you have recently lost a loved one, and you want to go visit said loved one in the cemetery, and you're like, you know what? I want to like see where that plot is. I want to see where I'm going to go visit. So you go on to Google Maps, and you say, okay, let me look in that general location. And when you actually find where your person is buried, this is what comes up in your Google Maps. 2 skeletons driving in a golf cart at a cemetery. This is like just something that somebody planted in the cemetery when the when the Street View thing was happening. They put a bunch of skeletons in there.
What the fuck am I looking at?
You're looking at skeletons driving a golf cart.
Yep.
It was. Let me get my information up because I did research and.
Please, because I have many questions and I expect you to answer them.
Okay, we'll start with the questions and then as I will let you know if I have the answers. Go
Cool.
for it.
Question 1: what the fuck am I looking at?
Okay, you are. There is a there is a person by the name of Cromarte who likes to, because technically anybody could contribute to Google Maps. If you wanted to, right now, you could take pictures of your neighborhood and submit them to Google Maps, and they would come up when somebody looks.
Okay.
Unless there's like, awful bad stuff in it. So this guy, Cromarte, loves doing this. So in March of 2023, he uploaded a 360 thing of skeletons. And people were like, oh, that's weird. And then they looked up other stuff that he had submitted. And basically, this is a thing that this guy loves to do. He's
trolling people?
Yeah, but he does it for different reasons. He's got Santa skeletons where he puts like Christmas decorations on them. He's got skeletons with Mardi Gras beads in New Orleans. He's got Easter Bunny skeletons. So he just goes around. I don't have pictures of these, unfortunately, but he just goes around to different situations and has skeletons do things and uploads it to Google Maps to make it weird experience for people.
So you like go to Google Maps and type in this location and all the different pictures will come up. So like everyone's experiences, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Like,
yeah. You can get different pictures from, like different places, basically.
Okay.
For example, I did that when I went to Iceland. I took a couple of pictures and Google Maps was like, hey, do you want to upload these? And I was like, sure. And they've been seen according to Google Maps, they've been seen 30,000 times, making it the most successful thing I've ever done is take pictures of a random waterfall in Iceland. So do it, because it's, I'm just raking in all the absolutely no money from doing that. So it's not good for cash. But yeah, so this apparently went viral. A bunch of people were excited about it. A bunch of other people said, hey, kind of like, what the fuck? It's a cemetery. Maybe don't put skeletons in golf carts in a cemetery.
That's a fair fair thing to ask.
Yeah. I think it's also how often do you Google Mapsing the middle of a cemetery where you're going street view? But this person did, and that's how they discovered it. And that's what I got for you. That's the world being crazy for us right now.
Wow.
I have two thoughts.
Yeah.
First, Heather, you need to click the link and find the video, because it starts off just panning in 360 around the cemetery, and it's just tombstones, rainy afternoon sky, and then golf cart with skeletons.
Is this within the story?
It's within it. You can watch the video. It's majestic. It's great.
I'm going to.
Second, I feel like this is a major redemption for Tim Robinson's Bones Are Their Money character. It just feels like this was made for him. So that was the night the skeletons came to life, and we got to see it with photographic evidence.
Right.
Nice.
So that's what we. Thank you for that. That's what we got. Nice. Sujata saying she wouldn't care. There are more important things to focus on.
More important things to focus on.
Totally. Sure. It's just if it's your loved one, I feel like it's probably more serious. But really, I agree with you. It's just silly. Nobody's actually thinking that although if skeletons were to come back, it'd be fun. Cool. Anything else on this, or do we want to move on to our what the facts? Actually, before we get to our what the facts, I have a couple of honorable mention stories. That I think we need to get into.
Bring it.
Okay, so honorable mention stories, for those who have not seen them before, are stories that we didn't feel like we needed to cover in full, but definitely deserve some mention because they are stupid. Okay, first one. Please wear clothes in your digital driver's license photos, Georgia officials urge. Because in Georgia, you can upload images for your digital driver's license on your own. You don't have to get it taken at the,
which
wherever.
Love that idea.
Yeah, but most people don't wear shirts, so it looks like they're naked. And Georgia is not thrilled by how many naked people there are on digital driver's licenses. Right. But I say go for it, Georgia. Do what you got to do. That's what people expect from you.
As long as you can identify the person, I mean.
Right, but I mean, in theory, you're not allowed. In driver's license, you're not allowed to wear glasses, but you should be kind of required to wear shirts.
What is the thing? You're not allowed to smile with your mouth open or something?
I didn't hear that one, but that makes sense.
I think it was something like that. I remember the last time I took one, they were like, you need to smile less. And I was like, oh, okay.
Right,
She's like, no, we need to see your face clearly, because I guess I was smiling too much. How many times has a woman ever been told that? Ugh.
Yeah, stop smiling so much.
Stop smiling so much, Jesus.
Story number 2. Chuck E. Cheese still uses floppy disks to make their rodent mascots dance.
Tremendous.
Yeah.
I mean, that makes sense, though. It's such an old thing. Sure, they never updated the technology. Why would you?
Yep. Apparently, they have to mail floppy disks to different places so they can update the little songs and stuff like that, because they're constantly updating the songs, but not the technology.
Really?
Oh my God! They can't even send it as a file because it's so old.
Right.
Who's the one company that like still is doing that?
I don't know.
Oh wow! I actually want to know more about this.
Yeah. Well, we can do a follow up on it if you'd like.
I'm interested.
Yeah. And then our last honorable mention story is man gets sued after leaving his blind date and her 23 relatives at a restaurant.
Oh
no. It was a story out of China. He went on a blind date with a lady. She brought her entire family. Before he got there, they ordered a bunch of drinks and appetizers and stuff like that. He got there, was like, okay, I guess I'll go on a date with your 23 family members. And then they handed him the bill for everything.
Oh, no.
And he was like, hold on, I got to go to the bathroom. And then just left.
Quick bathroom trip.
Yeah.
Then she sued. And he won. Basically, like, the court made him pay for him and her.
That's fair.
And then
totally fair.
Yeah.
Which even I don't know why he had to pay like for her.
No, but I mean, if
like,
you're in a battle, that feels like a good compromise to the battle.
For sure.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he paid for him and her, and then and here's the weird part about it too. The rest of the family won't pay her for their percentages. So she's trying to figure out how to get the money from the rest of her family that now she's obligated to cover, and the rest of the family's like, no. And it's like, what is this family? Like, I don't understand what this family is.
That's
what I want to know, and we'll never get the answer, is did she invite the 23 members of her family because she wanted like them to see that she got a date, or did 23 members of her family just feel so protective that they needed to be involved in this date and expected one man to pay for 25 meals on a blind date?
Yep.
Right. Or is it like 25 just completely what's the word I want? I'm not going to think of it, but just dysfunctional. Yeah, just like a dysfunctional family where it's like, oh, she's going on a date, we're all going. And she's like, okay, yeah.
But like, chip in,
Sujata, is there a prize for worst family ever? Yeah. Right, because here's the thing. It would be weird enough if you brought your 23 family members, but right up top you were like, look, my family is very important to me, whatever. They're taking care of their own stuff. And like you said it up front, like they were paying, they just happened to be in the restaurant. Is it still weird? Yes, absolutely. Would you still not go on a second date? Absolutely. However, it makes it like less heinous. It just makes it weird. This is just like, what the hell?
I'm gonna ask you, but I mean, it's also very much for you. If you showed up on a blind date and somebody had 23 members of their family with them, would you stay?
Absolutely not.
No way.
No.
Right.
No way.
So there's a question of why did he even bother with this process? Like, why did he continue the date and not just be like, it's been real?
He all right, I'm gonna throw out one. Maybe he was in just a really, really wildly long dry spell.
I was gonna say she was really hot.
Yeah. The bad news is they all share one bedroom as well. So
they do. You know it, of course. If they're all showing up to dinner, yes.
Yeah, probably.
Absolutely. Wow, that's a wild
lot
story.
Of bunk beds.
That is wild.
So those are our honorable mentions. And before we move on to our What the Facts, it is the time of the show again where I encourage people to like and subscribe. It lets other people know that you're enjoying the content, and it lets you know when there are new episodes. So click the like button, and click the subscribe button and all that. And please check out further shows that we are doing. Which then brings us now to our What the Facts section. For those of you who have not seen it before, I will ask you guys 3 different questions. And maybe you'll know the answers, maybe not. I don't know. We'll see. Chat, please play along. Try and guess what you think the fun answers are. And here we go. Sal, I'm going to come to you first, so just be ready.
Sure. Ready.
Question number 1. Keanu Reeves suggested he would like to see a John Wick crossover with who? Would you like to see a crossover with the Terminator? Would you like to see a crossover with Medea? Or would you like to see a crossover with Bill and Ted? I would like to see any of these movies, but he
Same.
only picked one.
I would watch any of them. I feel like I don't know the answer to this.
Okay.
I'm going to guess. It feels like Bill and Ted is being fed as a Keanu Reeves, like, you know, this is another movie he's in. So I don't think it's Bill and Ted, which brings me to Terminator is the most likely, but man, I bet Keanu Reeves would love to see a crossover with John Wick and Medea.
Mhm.
I'm gonna say the Terminator, but I really hope I'm wrong and it's B.
Okay. Heather, how are you feeling?
Sal pretty much said exactly how I'm feeling. Like, I think it's probably the Terminator, just because at this point, Keanu Reeves is mostly associated with like these action type things. And that feels like a really badass classic, like, oh, the Terminator, what a great crossover.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. I think Bill and Ted is a red herring to be like, Reeves versus Reeves. No. Medea, I'd love to see it. And there's a world where I could see Tyler Perry being very entertained by and Tyler Perry. Yes, Tyler Perry would be entertained. But Keanu Reeves being like, this is the most fun we could possibly do. Like, this is who I want to work with. This is what I want to do. Keanu Reeves is also known, like, from what I've read, to have like a really good sense of humor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He might. I'll stick with Terminator, but I'm really on the fence about it.
Okay.
I'm sticking with it, but I'm real on the fence about it being B.
Okay. I think we got a B out of chat though.
We did.
We did get a B out of chat. And you should have gone with chat because it is in fact
It's
Medea.
right. It's right. Oh my
I
god.
knew it. I'm so happy.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Right. He loved the idea of basically like somebody who he had to battle that he couldn't shoot. Like that it was like, just somebody who's not intimidated by anyone or anything.
That's great.
thought it
You
would be
know
a
that they would
super
have so much
crossover.
fun together. Oh
Yeah.
my god.
That movie will never happen, but it
And
would
maybe it will now.
It would do
Well,
so
we did-
well. It would do so well.
Yeah. I'd watch it.
Yeah.
I'd watch the Terminator one also.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. But you're right. Bill and Ted was a red herring.
Yeah.
a little bit.
Yeah.
All right. Now we're gonna get into the original version of Pinocchio. In the original version of Pinocchio, the Italian version, as I brought in for my Italian friend. Which of the following things actually happened in the original version? Did Pinocchio get Geppetto arrested for child abuse? Did Pinocchio murder Jiminy Cricket with a hammer?
Jesus Christ.
Or did the townspeople hang Pinocchio at the end of the story? Heather, what are your thoughts?
I think it's C.
You think it's C?
I think it's C because I think B is just, is Jiminy Cricket even real, or was he made up by Disney? I'm not positive. You don't have to tell me. I'm thinking this out.
I'm not giving any information away
I
until
thought
the
Jiminy
answer.
Cricket was made up by. Anyway, the Geppetto child abuse it's a really satisfying angle to take for, especially in today's world. But I don't think that happened in the original version.
Okay.
Because also, if the original version is like old, what is it from, like the 1800s or the 1600s or something? I don't feel like anyone thought that was weird. They would be like, yeah, an
Child
old
abuse
man
was
with
fine.
a young. No, not the child abuse part, but like an old man hanging out with a young boy that he took under his wing. That's normal. Like, I feel like it's only sadly, it's only very recently that I feel like the world's kind of been like, that's not okay. That's kind of weird.
Okay.
C feels, yeah, like they didn't trust him. They thought he was a witch or something, or a warlock or whatever, and they went with it and they hanged him.
Okay. We got another C in the chat.
We do because the other two are too sad.
Yeah. Sal, what are you thinking?
Okay, so I'm gonna say I have not seen the original, much to the dismay of any of my Italian followers and family. But I will say, in all of the Italian movies that I have seen, the one of these three that feels like it is a recurring event is someone being murdered with a hammer.
Okay.
So I am going to go against Heather and against the chat because enough mob movies have shown me that the Italians love to depict someone being killed by a hammer. I'm going B.
Okay.
That's incredible.
It's a good argument, and I would say that everyone is right because it is all of them.
What?
It is all of them.
What?
Yeah, Pinocchio basically like set Geppetto up. He went to the police and said, "I'm being abused by Geppetto." He got him in trouble on purpose. It wasn't people like seeing it. It was him like narking on Geppetto, even though it wasn't true. After that happened, Jiminy Cricket was trying to show Pinocchio the power of being a good person. Pinocchio did not want to hear it and murdered him with a hammer.
Sal, you were right. Look at that.
And then at the end, people realized all the awful things that he was doing and hanged him.
So Pinocchio's just a fucking villain?
Yeah.
Is Pinocchio Cartman? This feels like a South Park episode.
The original one, Pinocchio is a dark fucking character. It has been changed to be a lot more pleasant.
What the hell made Disney
That's
go?
amazing.
What a great story for us to make for children. We'll clean it up.
Yep.
What a better version.
Right? So
that's crazy.
Yeah, I came across an article with a bunch of like fucked up fairy tale things. I almost went with a couple of different ones, so be prepared for future ones where they're equally fucked up things. Which brings us to our third what the fuck question. The new Ozempic weight loss drug, which it's just blowing up. I don't think people have heard a lot about it lately. It does have some side effects. I will say in this case, only one of these is a real side effect of taking Ozempic. So before you try and go on this drug, decide whether or not you would consider any of these. Sal, I'm going to come to you first. Is it A, does it give you a black hairy tongue? B, does it cause celebrity-themed dreams? Or
What?
C, does it make you a pathological gambler?
Oh, Jesus. Wow.
One of these is a genuine, honest-to-goodness side effect of Ozempic. So you lose weight, but you'll have one of these things. Which do you think it is?
I have seen these commercials on Hulu, like in the forced ads that you have to watch, and I don't remember any of these. Only one of them feels like it's a physical side effect, and that's A.
Mm.
But I want to say C.
Okay.
I love the idea that this drug makes you want to bet on anything. So I'm going to say C.
Okay.
I'm going with C.
You're going with C. Okay. Heather?
I mean, I especially think C is hilarious because my understanding is that mostly rich celebrities have been obtaining this drug.
Ozempic, yeah.
So how freaking funny is that if they're all obtaining this drug so that they can all lose a lot of weight and now they're all just becoming pathological gamblers? I don't think it's B.
Okay.
I definitely feel like A is actually the answer because that feels like one of those things where you're like, well, I lose weight, but I have a black hairy tongue.
Okay.
And it just feels like, I don't know what the science is behind how it makes you lose weight, but I always feel like inevitably with the body, like they say if you like use certain kinds of antiperspirants, like you sweat out of other parts of your body excessively, like you'll sweat out of your feet or something. So like the body's going to figure out a way like, oh, you want to lose weight this way? I'm going to give you hair on your tongue and it's going to turn black. I'm going to go with black hairy tongue.
You're going to go with black hairy tongue. We got a
yes,
C.
But I do think C is really funny.
We got a C in chat. The actual answer, I do want to say before I give you the answer that all of these are side effects of a drug.
Oh, wow. Wow.
But only B is related to Ozempic.
What a weird, what?
Yep. Celebrity-themed dreams, for whatever reason, it causes people to dream more and dream about celebrities for reasons that they have absolutely no idea why.
What?
Black hairy tongue is associated with drinking too much Pepto-Bismol. if you drink too much Pepto-Bismol, you will get a black, hairy tongue. Yeah. The pathological gambling thing is associated with some liver drug that I don't remember the name of, but it makes you
Drinking
like
and gambling.
Yeah, right?
It just
It
makes
feels
you
like
wanna
that's
gamble.
very connected.
Yeah. So all of these are side effects of things that you can get, but if you want to lose weight, if I had to get one of these side effects, celebrity themed dreams.
B is the least upsetting. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
so you have dreams about celebrities. Okay.
Right.
Right.
yeah.
Unless they're all James Corden based.
Oh, that's true. That would be a real raw deal.
So
You're like, I look great, but every night James Corden's there in my dreams,
Haunting.
haunting, probably singing songs from Cats.
Yeah.
So if you're thinking of losing weight, just know that is a possibility that is coming at you at any given time. Yeah. So those are what the facts today. Hopefully you learned something. Hopefully it encourages you to go read the original Pinocchio and be horrified.
I don't know if I want to read it, but holy moly.
And hopefully you know what to expect when your day goes out.
Look at Sujatha. Sujatha's found the thread to connect it. If you're desperate to be thin, it makes sense to dream about it being a celebrity. That makes sense.
Makes sense, yeah.
Smart.
Yeah.
That's a very celebrity feeling thing. Good thought. Good thought.
All right, so that brings us over to our final segment, the Would You Rather. Heather, you want to get us going?
I would love to. All right. Would you rather be able to transform into anything or anyone in the world, or would you rather be able to teleport anywhere in the world? Sal, I'm going to come to you first.
Man, both would be very cool. I think as someone that drives and someone that also often has to deal with the MTA, teleport anywhere, provided that, like, you know, there was no side effects like having celebrity themed dreams or a black hairy tongue. I think I would want of those to be able to just teleport anywhere I want. You can vacation anytime. You have a rough day at work, you can like pour yourself a glass of scotch and, you know, teleport yourself to the beach in Hawaii. Like, to me, that's the one. I don't know.
Okay.
All right. Dustin?
I mean, it's a good argument. It's a good argument. I was going back and forth. As fans of the show know, I almost always bring these back to bank robberies and ways to make money.
Oh, my God.
Yep.
So
I thought about it.
in the bank
Oh my
robbery situation, on one hand, you have I can pretend to be like Bill Gates and just withdraw a lot of money. On the other hand, I can just teleport into the bank vault and teleport out. So teleport seems like the way that you kind of got to go.
What if it's got those lasers, though, that all the movies tell me all bank vaults have, those cool laser things?
Right, but they only turn those on like once at night. Like, you just got to like slip in there. You got to have a spotter. You invite somebody and be like, hey, when nobody's looking at the vault, I'm going to like... Whoop,
They're
whoop.
coming for you, Dustin.
Yeah, apparently.
Yeah. Dustin, you're never going to successfully rob a bank, and it's because of this show.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with the fact that I would walk into shit before I got anywhere close to
They're
doing
already
it.
outside my door. Like, they're here.
Yeah. I really love the transform into anyone, anything kind of option, because then you could just, like, you could be a celebrity when you want to. You could be not a celebrity when you wanted to. You could just, you know, you could get into anywhere and do anything that you wanted to and feel good about it. But teleport, like, I love the idea of, I want to have dinner in Italy tonight. I want to have dinner in China tonight. I'm just going to, like, pop there. Now, the one bummer, I think, would potentially be if I couldn't teleport with other people, then it would just be like a little like sad of just like, oh, I guess I'll just go by myself. I'll see you later. You know, because I mean, if you think about like your significant other, if you wanted to teleport places every night, but they couldn't go, you'd feel real guilty about like going there every night. You'd have to be like,
I feel like Annie Sage wouldn't be as mad as long as I was bringing a meal home as well.
I was going to say, make sure you just bring back something really good.
But what if you couldn't? What if it was a Terminator situation and you're just like nude there? Like,
well, then you
know
trade
what I mean?
off.
Like,
some nights she goes, some nights you go.
Right, but only you have the power. That's what I'm saying. Is like only you have the power to transport, And if you take it as a Terminator situation where you could only go like your physical body and you can't bring anything back and forth with you, then like don't you think that like
well then you can't rob banks, Dustin.
Yeah, that's true.
That's true.
You can't rob a bank.
You're right. That ruins my whole bank thing.
Yep. You just ruined your whole argument.
All right. Well, Heather, it's your question. So what are the rules? Is it a Terminator situation or can you?
I think you can bring things back.
Can you make like physical contact with someone and bring them with you? Because that's like a thing in movies, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think you can. I think the teleporting power is a thing that you control. So I think you can bring a person with you. I like that. I think you can touch somebody and like they transport with you.
Yeah. Then,
Star Trek 2. Yeah.
Then you got to go teleport, I think.
For sure.
Yeah. So I'm going with teleporting even without all the extra things that we just asked. I just think that it's way more cool and convenient and just like, listen, we're getting to summer in New York. Nobody wants to walk around. It's going to be hot. It's going to be nasty. How nice would it be to just teleport? I agree, Sal. You're just thinking about a good meal you had somewhere outside of where you live. I thought of New Orleans immediately. I was like, how great would that be? Just transport to New Orleans. Pick up a meal, have a meal, or just go say hi to friends, but then transport right back. I always talk about Star Trek because they talk about that's like literally the way that they travel in Star Trek. And to me, I'm like, when's it happening? When are we getting that? When do we get that power? Because it's great. You hear the characters talk all the time. They're like, oh, I'm going to go see my dad in so-and-so. Oh yeah, I was just visiting. And they're just like places that would be days to get to. And I just think that's super cool. I think transforming into anything or anyone's fun, but I think it's more like a gimmick that you get tired of really fast. Whereas I think teleporting is like, you'll never get tired of that. The world that opens up.
All right. Well, then I guess we got our answer.
Yeah.
So many banks to rob. So many banks.
Yeah. For sure.
Hey.
Yeah. All right. Sal, then we're coming to you.
All right. So my would you rather question is, would you rather never again feel sadness or never again feel anger? And so I'm going to load it up front and say, things will still be capable of making you feel that way. You just won't have a reaction to that thing.
Okay. Who do you want? Who do you want? Do you want to answer first?
Let's go ladies first. Heather, what do you got?
I think I'm gonna go with sadness because there's something far more painful and just like it's just like such a specific feeling and you just feel like you're never gonna come out of it. And I feel like anger is not a fun feeling to have, but I feel like there's something about anger where even when you're angry, I don't know, I can only speak for myself. I feel like even when I'm angry, I still know that there's like an end to it. Whereas sometimes it feels like sadness, you don't think it's going to end. So I think I'd rather never experience sadness.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess it's me.
Dustin, what do you got?
So I was going back and forth on this one because I experience anger far more often than I think I experience sadness. So getting rid of anger would be something that would be more frequently tangible, but getting rid of sadness, I was talking to somebody recently about the difference between like anger and sadness, and like anger feels active, like you feel like you're fighting against something that is making you upset, whereas sadness feels more resigned in some sort of way because you're more likely than not sad because something happened that you don't like, that there is nothing that you can really do anything about. So sadness feels like a more desperate emotion to me, and I feel like I'd rather get rid of that than the anger, which like I feel like I can use anger to like motivate me to make me, do something, and sadness is just like I just want to sit there and be bummed, and I don't like doing that. So I'm gonna go with sadness.
Yeah, I'm gonna make it 3 for 3. I think you guys covered a lot of my thoughts on it. For me, anger is typically a short burst. I don't stay angry very long. I get real heated, and then typically, like, relatively short order, I'm, not angry anymore. Sadness is tough, man. I'm someone that is prone to like getting in a bad funk and getting down on myself and just being upset and not wanting to get out of bed or not wanting to leave my house. I would very much like for that to be something that I could control and just be able to, like, the thing can still happen, but for it to not just like rip my heart out or punch me in the stomach in the same way. I'm with you. I 3 for 3, wholeheartedly agree.
All right. Brings us to our third question, which I think is me. Okay, so in this scenario, you're capable of reading minds. You wake up one day and you're like, I can know what everybody else is thinking. So my question to you guys is, would you tell everyone about it, or would you keep it to yourself? Sal, I'll go to you first. Which would you do?
I think that I would keep it to myself. And the reason for that is I would never want the people that I care about and whose like opinion and thoughts I actually value and like care about to ever feel like they were uncomfortable around me. So I mean, that's not to say I would never use it for personal gain. Like, I would try not to use it for personal gain from, again, people that really matter to me. But like, if there's someone who I don't like and I have a chance to kind of put them in their place without them having any idea how it happened, like, I might do that, but I don't think I would make the reveal that it's something intrinsic that I'm capable of doing. I think it would be something that I kept to myself and used in moments where I needed it, but I would be too concerned with alienating the people that I love to let them know that it was something that was going on.
You don't think they might feel betrayed by, like, if they were to ever find out, do you think they might feel betrayed of like, wait, you knew this whole time? Like,
I would never tell a soul.
Okay.
They would never find out.
Cool. Heather?
I agree. I think that it would make too many people. Yes, exactly what Sujatha's saying too. Keep it to yourself because no one would ever talk to you. I agree. I think it would make people start avoiding you because they would just feel very fearful around you. They would feel like they can't be themselves. And to Sal's point, right, people that you really care about, you don't want them to feel that. People are allowed to have private thoughts. That's just, yeah, I think keep it to I Yeah.
Okay.
But I feel like I know how you're going to go on this one, Dustin.
Yeah, I was going to go the other way. I was going to like...
Can I guess why you're going to go the other way?
Yeah, by all means.
Because you're going to use it to sell to somebody like, hey, I have this really cool power. Pay me a lot of money and I will get you things. Like I can win you things or something. Yeah.
Yeah. because I think over time, the people that you know and care about will adjust like accordingly. They'll like know they're like, hey, here are the things that I can think about and I can't think about in front of this person. If I think they'll just sort of like learn how to clear their brains in certain ways so that there isn't that spying that's happening. But in the meantime, yeah, you could, go into boardrooms and do negotiations and stuff like that and make millions and millions of dollars.
Knew it. I was like, Dustin's going to figure out the way to like, it's not bank robbing, but
right. I'm always going to figure out the way to cash in on weird superpowers. That's what I do.
I feel like you can pull that off without openly telling everyone and risking your relationships.
I think so too.
See,
I feel like if you're more tactical about it, you can achieve both.
You could tell people like, I have a really good sense of hunch. Like my hunches are always go to something where you have to bet on stuff and like win it a bunch, and then you could be like, look, I'm never wrong.
See, but I disagree. Well, I know, Sal, I know that you're saying that you would never tell anybody. Like, you would never, like, but, like, eventually I feel like you're gonna get caught. You know what I mean? Like, you're like, something's gonna happen where they're like, how the fuck did you know that? I never told anybody that. And you're like, I don't. And then they're gonna find out, and then they're gonna know this whole time that you've been spying on them, and it's going to be like a whole thing. I just feel like it's super hard to keep that a secret. That's all I'm saying. I don't think
And then I'll have made millions and millions at a blackjack table, and it won't matter.
There you go.
I would suggest poker.
That's how you
over
cash
blackjack,
in,
but yeah,
and you
okay.
also keep it to yourself. Perfect.
Okay. I'm gonna go with tell everybody, but I understand your guys' argument. I understand why you're doing, because you could have the best of both worlds. I get it.
Wait, I'm going to say one other thing. You risk then that people will not allow you to be involved in those meetings. Like, one side can turn around and say, well, no, he's barred from the meeting. Like, we're not going to give you that advantage that you'll be able to read the minds of our business guys. Mm-hmm. He can't be in there, and we're going to check everyone for an earpiece or a live microphone.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's fair. That's fair. That's a good argument. Maybe I should go the other way. I don't know. But damn it.
You can be tactical.
Yeah.
You can pull it off. I believe it.
Listen, Star Trek brings up characters that are telepathic. I know other sci-fi does as well, but Star Trek is the one I always bring up.
And so, John, it's not that it's Dustin, what's in it for me, Diodato. It's that we're in a would you rather situation, and you got to figure out, the why you would rather. I'm just saying, it's you need to make money off these things. That's how you.
So in like kind of a similar but different situation, I was working at a restaurant once, and I learned Italian before I knew English. My parents knew that I'd pick up English, but they wanted to make sure that I learned Italian. So they taught me Italian first. But I'm rusty. Like, I will mispronounce a word or forget a word. And I will never forget one table. I mispronounced a word. And one guy at the table in Italian mocked me to all of the other people. So in perfect Italian, I turned to him and I said, actually, that's one of the very few words in Italian that I'm always unsure if I'm pronouncing correctly. So thank you for making it clear. Now I will never forget again. And I gave him a thumbs up. The whole table burst out laughing and pointed at him, and he had to sit there like a jackass.
Oh, wow.
Because he thought he was smart and he wasn't. And I shut it down real quick.
Wow.
That's
and
awesome.
what a gracious way to shut it down, though, that you were like, oh, by the way, I can speak Italian, but thank you, because I never knew how to pronounce that word. I love that.
That is awesome. That story makes me so happy.
Yeah, me too.
Okay.
That brings us to the end of our show, guys. Sal, thank you so much for joining us. Where can people find out more about what you got going on?
So I would tell people to follow me on Twitter at SalDog, SALD0GG. But realistically, I really just mostly give takes on sports and hip hop. I don't really use it for promotion as much as I should. What I can tell you is that on the 4th of July, if you are in town, the time slot is not locked down yet, but it's looking like we are bringing Improvention back for the first time in a year and a half.
Nice.
And we'll be performing it at the Pit during Independence Day at some point in the afternoon. I can't say when, but check out thepit-nyc.com, and they should have the schedule posted at some time before the show. And also, if you're in Brooklyn, the first 2 Thursdays of every month, a wonderful bar called Young Ethel's is doing an experiment in improv, and I'm on the 7 p.m. team there with a bunch of really wonderful people, and there are a lot of great teams, and it's free. So the drinks are not, but the shows are. If you wanted to spend some time having some fun and getting some laughs on one of the first 2 Thursdays of the month, come down to Young Ethel's. I will be there.
Awesome.
Nice. And listen, the drinks at Young Ethel's may not be free, but they are good.
Mm-hmm.
They're damn good.
Great stuff there. Yeah.
Heather, what do you got coming up?
Nothing coming up in the next couple weeks. I think sketch is going to be the next big thing that I have coming up, because Red Shirts, we haven't booked anything else right now. So that'll be, what is that, the 25th of July we're doing the sketch show?
27th.
27th of July, sketch. Yeah, we're going to have our first show of the season at the Tank. So that'll be fun. And then, I, kind of like Sal, I don't really use I do have social media presences, but I don't really use them. So just follow my musical improv group, Red Shirts, because that's where you'll find out most about what I perform in.
Cool.
So Red Shirts Musical Improv.
Cool. I'm focused mostly on the sketching that Heather is talking about, but if you want to follow me on Instagram, it's DDADDATO. And I post pictures whenever I go on trips, and I haven't, so, but I will this weekend. So stick around for this weekend.
Nice.
And I'm going up to Syracuse, and we'll take pictures from Syracuse.
Cool.
And you can always follow us at Super Important Stuff, find out who our guests are and upcoming things that are happening, and when we don't have shows, random weird trivia that we like to throw out. And that about does it for this evening, which, Sal, thank you so much for being part of our show. And we'll
Yes,
see.
thank you for having me.
And we'll see you guys next week. Have a wonderful evening.